working with us as best you could to get all the players to practice, get them there on time. Parents, again, I want to thank you guys. I heard a quote from a high school coach in the area that kind of hit home for me and kind of put things into perspective. He said that, you know, when you're a head coach, you have to keep in mind that you're dealing with the most important thing in somebody else's life. And for me, you know, that stuck with me because I don't have any kids yet. I don't have any boys in the program. And a lot of these coaches don't either. So I think sometimes it might be easy for us to lose sight of that. So I want to thank you guys sincerely for allowing us to coach your sons. You know, I know sometimes that can be a difficult thing. So thank you for allowing them to be coached, take criticism, and positive feedback both ways. It's very much appreciated. I definitely want to thank all the coaches, the guys that you see behind me here. Jason Carrid, there's Andrew Stacklin, Cody Fox, Randy Hager, David Huser, and Nathan Asman. These guys, we've been doing it together a long time. And you wouldn't believe me if I told you how many hours these guys put in. You know, Coach Stacklin, Coach Fox, and I had a group text that I think if our bosses knew how much we were texting throughout the workday, we'd be in a little bit of trouble. But I can assure you that these guys have the best interest for your sons at heart. And I can say with confidence that these guys as a group, we did everything we could to make this a very positive experience for all the varsity players. So thank you guys for all your time. Very much appreciated. I want to thank the players. You know, this is the second year in a row where we've had another program come into our level. And you guys, you know, you had adversity you had to deal with, unlike a lot of the schools that we played against. A lot of these teams, as you guys know, I mean, you know some players on the other teams, you know, they didn't have to come together early on in the season. We had a lot of things that we had to work on. We had guys playing different positions, and you guys took it extremely well. And you know, the effort was one thing that I don't think any coach throughout the year questioned, you know, from any of you guys. So for that, I know we're very, very grateful for you. Just to bring a little recap to our season, you know, every year we kind of have an idea of what kind of talent we have, where kids might be playing, but the past 2 years we haven't had a clue. And so I think from the start we're a little behind the 8 ball when it comes to that. But this year it was very surprising. You know, we had some leaders from our 8th grade and that did a fantastic job helping the new players that came into the program get acclimated very, very quickly. So we hit the ground running. I mean, we shot out of a cannon in the first few scrimmages that we played in the first few weeks, and really liked what we saw. I know our schedule was a little backloaded. The last 3 teams that we played, you know, we're some of the best football teams around, regardless of the league. And for what it's worth, the team that we ended up losing to in the playoffs did win the championship, and there were some very talented teams. And I don't want you guys to think we had a we had a good season, very good season. You know, anytime you finish in the top 4 of the Division I league, you're doing something right. So when you guys think back on your final season, you 8th graders, it should be nothing but positive memories. You guys had a very good season. What I'd like to do now, I want to bring our 7th graders up as a group. So if I could, I want all the 7th graders to line up over here. We'll be going with our 7th graders. I think I tell our guys this every year, but if you have a really good football team on our level, every year you're going to have to
all the best linemen are
for a couple different reasons. I think you guys would agree. Every year we have several 7th graders that make a very significant impact, that play a lot, and sometimes maybe before they're ready. But we have a lot of talent over here on this wall that we are extremely excited about having back next year. And I think the most important thing about having a strong 7th grade class is the better of a class you have in the 7th grade, in all honesty, it makes our 8th grade a heck of a lot better. You know, this group, I don't think we had to motivate any of these guys to come to practice every day and give us their best effort. You know, I cannot imagine some of you guys that it would be fun trying to tackle Luke and Braves play after practice, and nobody complained about it, and that was extremely refreshing. These guys, we wouldn't have had the success that we did without them. So thank you to the 7th graders. I'm going to bring them up together. So if you guys can hold your applause for the 7th graders until the end, that would be great. Charlie Baker. Carson Barrett. Tyler Biggs. Tyrell Harding. Henry Heights. Gino Hockenberry. Sam Jones. Lucas Kurzals. Jonathan McGinnis. Kellen Lang. Zach Mose. Drew Murphy. Thomas Roth. Jake Steinwert. Sean Stevens. And Nick Town. Now what we're going to do, we're going to introduce our 8th graders here individually. Football is it's a different sport in the fact that there aren't really any recognitions when it comes to playing football after you're done with grade school, and if you decide not to play in high school, you never really get to put those pads on again. So we want to make sure that we do a very good job of recognizing our 8th graders and welcoming them now into our group of alumni here for the football program. So we're gonna bring each 8th grader up here individually. First 8th grader that we want to recognize, Dominic Thompson.
I should have said Bob Dylan.
Dominic is a wide receiver and a defensive back for us, and did a fantastic job. Jacob McVeigh. Jacob did a great job on our offensive defensive line for us, and really, I think he really improved from his 7th grade year to his 8th grade year. So that's fantastic. Cody Vest. Cody was our starting center and part of our defensive line rotation that we had. And Cody really did a great job for us for the 2 years.
Cody.
Very glad that we had the opportunity to coach him. Nick Gutzweiler. Nick was an offensive lineman for us and a defensive lineman. I think his heart might have been at the quarterback position, but one great thing about Nick is that he never complained no matter where we put him. And we had to move him around from multiple different spots on that offensive line. And I think Nick knows every position on the offensive line. It's a big asset to have when you can move somebody around in crunch time if somebody gets injured. And he was very reliable. Nick Ruoff. Nick was another member of our offensive line and our defensive line, and just another player that was a joy to be around. Nick did everything that we asked him to do on both sides of the ball, and I really think one thing that was really neat for the coaches to see was just his aggressiveness. Just take a really big step forward from 7th to 8th grade season, and he really did have a great year, so congrats, Nick. Casey Sullivan. Casey was part of our offensive line and our defensive line. One of the things I noticed as a 7th grader, anytime we would do hitting drills, sometimes we would split the 7th and the 8th graders up. And I think the majority of the coaches caught ourselves every drill, anybody that would be watching the 8th grade hit, and there was always somebody on that 7th grade group that everybody would have to turn around and say, who the heck was that? And it was Sully knocking somebody's chin strap loose. But Casey I think the great thing about Casey is he had this ability to play bigger than maybe what his size was on the field. And it really showed, and he had a great 8th grade year. So congrats, Casey. Will Carmesino. I think the neat thing for me with Will is I don't think in the 14 years that I've been doing this where I've really seen somebody make as big of a leap as Will did. And maybe not from a performance standpoint, even though there was a very significant increase in a positive way on his performance. But Will was probably just as important from a leadership standpoint on this team than anybody that we had. He was constantly coming over and pointing things out of maybe we missed a block here or this and that. And I think the best part for me was he did a great job motivating his teammates. Even some of those guys that we would rely on performance-wise to do a lot of things, he was always motivating, and I couldn't be more proud of Will. So congrats, Will. Ben Krippelman. Ben was a wide receiver and a defensive back for us, and probably one of the best tacklers that we had on the team. I think one thing that really stood out about Ben is in the open field, he did a very nice job tackling in space, and he was a great player for us this year. So congratulations, Ben. Colin Crothers. Colin was a fullback and an outside linebacker for us, and another player that really took a big step forward this year. There's always a couple positions that are really important, and on our level, outside linebacker is very, very, very important. And he took a big step forward this year. I think as a 7th grader, Colin, he knew where he was supposed to be on every play. Just wasn't always consistent at tackling as a 7th grader, and it's really common. But this year, I mean, he was sure hands out there for us, and it was awesome. So congratulations, Colin. Nick Salmon, Mr. Consistent. Coach Asman, he's not shy about getting on somebody for running a route that isn't too crisp. But I don't think in the 2 years that we had Nick, we ever had to do that. He knew every route that he was supposed to run. He knew who he was supposed to block on every play. He knew every coverage as a defensive back that we had. And having his consistency was extremely valuable, and had a great year. So congratulations, man. The last 4 guys that we have down here were our captains this year. And for those of you that don't know, we let the other players on the team determine who our captains are going to be. The coaches don't have any say in that. And it's a testament to you guys for your leadership and what your teammates think about you. So it's a very special honor for you. You should be very proud of it. Rudy Hoffmeyer. Rudy was an offensive lineman and a middle linebacker for us. And I think he'd tell you, probably one of the strongest guys we had on the team, right, Rudy? Rudy's a joy to be around. One thing that you never have to question with Rudy is his energy. Thanks, buddy. And that's something that at our level can be challenging sometimes. 7th and 8th graders, not everyone, some are shy, not everybody really wants to be that rah-rah guy. And it was something that fit Rudy extremely well. And it was a big part of making sure we were ready to play. And just another player, obviously, that had a great year. So congratulations, Rudy. Carson Brown. Carson was our starting tight end and strong side defensive end. And we've been pretty fortunate here for several years now to really have some good tight ends. And Carson's right up there with one of the best that we've had. Before his injury, I don't think there were many passes that were in the vicinity of him that he didn't catch. And having that guy that you can rely on to sometimes bail you out of a tough situation and make a tough catch, it's underappreciated, but the development that he showed from the past 2 years has been fantastic, and was really enjoyed getting the opportunity to coach Carson. So congratulations, buddy. Robez Stevens. Robez was a running back and a middle linebacker for us.
Hey, that's my bro. That's my brother right there.
I'll never forget the first time that we saw Bravez come to football practice. I think some of our other 8th graders were like, oh, okay, this is going to be good. And as everybody knows, it was awesome. I think the first thing I remember about Brabez is he always had that smile on his face, no matter if he was getting yelled at or banged up. I mean, he was just always happy. And
Stop
it was extremely
smiling.
refreshing just to see a player that absolutely loved playing football. And I don't know if anybody really knows this, but this was your first year playing football, right? First year ever playing football. So I think sometimes we forgot about that and kind of expected him to know a lot of little things within the game that you would think an 8th grader by that point would know. And Coach Fox kind of had to come over every now and then and say, Coach, take it easy on him, you know. He's still getting his feet wet. I think your best days on the football field are ahead of you, buddy. I'm really excited to see what you can do in high school. So congrats on a great season.
Yeah.
Luke Flowers.
Yeah.
Luke was our starting running back and our strong side outside linebacker, and another guy that had a fantastic season. I think Luke's another guy. When you think about what type of teammate you want all your players to try and become, I think Luke fits that mold extremely well. I think he got thrown into the fire last year out of necessity, and actually got a lot of great experience that really helped him hit the ground running to start this season. Luke, I know you've asked, every now and then, hey, who's one of the best running backs you ever coached? Am I even close to being up there? And now we can finally tell you that, yeah, we probably